Yay! Okay, so this is going to be about Passover and Unleavened Bread, only how I came up with the calculations for this. I should include the calculations for the Feast of Pentecost, but I'll do that later. And so I'm just going to talk about a few things: the month name, Passover, verses in the Bible, and how I came up with the calculations for the Feast of Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread, and why I think it's the way it is. It's based on my teachings back in the day. I got trained by Minister Carnes first and foremost, and then I got subsequent training from Ron Shields and the videos and in person at HCA with the presentation. I was there. And then later on, just conversations with Zaire and one-on-one time spent going through the deliberations on how to come up with the calculations for Pentecost. So everybody's got variations of how they do things, and I understand why they came up with those calculations. For the most part, everybody makes sense. I mean, some stuff is different, but it really does make sense. So I'm just gonna go through what I have with like a combination of everybody, which might end up being inappropriate, but here goes. So that's my disclaimer, first and foremost, that it is a combination of everybody based on my teachings. And, if you got something different out of the calculations, can you please share um, why my calculations make sense, why they don't make sense, etc., etc. Okay, let's start off with the feast of. First, let's start off with the month of March, because that's when we coming up with how to calculate this in the first place. I went through this in a previous video, but this is the month of Abib, and I found the spring equinox to be on the 19th, and the first full moon is going to be between the 24th and the 25th. So it says the March full moon in 2024 will be on Monday, March 25th at 3 a.m. It's going to be between the 24th and the 25th. So the next sunrise is going to be on the 25th. This is going to be the first day of the month on March the 25th. And so we count in the 25th. So we're going to go 25, 26, 27. That's 3 days. 4, 5, 6, 7. And then go back. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So on the 14th day, right, I'm going to go find the the verse later to talk about. On the 14th day of the first month, that's when we do Passover. And so this is the month of, it's really called Ziv in the Bible, but I went back and this might not be right. I'm gonna have to change it, but I thought it was Zadi, but it's really Zion. But anyway, it's really like I don't know why they put the V in here, but anyway, I reconstructed that. Let me go back and show. Okay, so this is what is this? Strong's. I don't see Strong's whatever it is. But I think I did put it in here. It's just cut off. But it's Ziv. So that's Zion and Wal. And it's the same letter that people use for like Yahuwah, Yehuda, or that type of thing. So it has this Wal sound. It's the name of the second month of the year, corresponding to April and May normally. Um, so I looked this up and it's like right here, Zion, and that's the first letter, and the second is they put Vav right there, but uh, you see the name is Wal, and sometimes it has a sound like W, O, and U. So how do you get a V sound in the modern with this? I think maybe they changed it, but if you want to be a little bit more on the ancient side, then I decided let me change this sound to be um, W, O, or U sound. So I just call it Zu, the month of Zu. That might be inappropriate, but I noticed that most Hebrews are changing the pronunciation back to uh, maybe like early, middle, or late Hebrew type sound. So that's the reason why I did that. So I can kind of fit into that, change the sounds and trying to go back to uh, the pronunciation being either early, middle, or late ancient Hebrew. So this is a bead, and then going back to what I call is Zoo. um, so let's go back to the month of Zoo, and we'll see that this is April 2024, and the Feast of Unleavened Bread begins on the 8th of April 2024 as the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So we'll be eating unleavened bread for uh, a week, 7 days, and it's going to be the last day. It's going to be on the 14th, and this this is the full moon. It's going to be a total solar eclipse on this day or night, I should say. Um, let's see, did I get that? Hold on. Okay, April the 8th, Great Northern Eclipse, total solar eclipse is going to be at 4:41 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's going to be somewhere in the afternoon. And just a lot of um, media or talk about this um, eclipse that's set to happen. And the second full moon is going to be April 23rd at 7 p.m. So it's going to be in between the 23rd and the 24th. So with that being said, that it's going to be like a second count from this being the first sunrise, the 24th, and then 14 days after that, just in case if somebody missed the first Passover, there's a second opportunity to attend the Passover 14 days after this. So it would be in June. Um, so this would be day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12, 13, 14, which would be somewhere in between like June 7th, um, to have the second Passover. But I'll go back over the second Passover to confirm that, and maybe like another video. I forgot to put that, or maybe I can just go ahead and verify that right quick. Just one moment. So this is April. Um, I'm sorry, I went straight past May, the month of May. My fault. Okay, so this is the the 24th is going to be day one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. May the 7th is going to be the second Passover. And okay, so now we can go move forward. Since we talked about the calculations, so that's done. And that's the time when the men present the first fruits, wave offering. Um, Let me get this. And please, please, please tell me what you have to say in the comments. Like, sis, no, that's not right. Um, or can you be gentle and say in the comments, I have another point of view, and this is how I came up with it. The reason why I'm going off the full moon, I just want to say it again in this video, is because everything was made in this fullness. It wasn't made in a crescent moon. I'm not really sure why the new moon is considered the dark moon instead of the full moon, because the full moon was the fullness. And just like, again, when I was learning in HCA with Minister Carnes and Ron Shields, everything was made in this fullness. It wasn't made in this darkness. And some people can say that the light or the moon was made in like the fourth day, the third or the fourth day, but the luminaries still are where the Most High made everything in this fullness. And it's two great lights to rule the day and in the night. And so, with that being said, the full moon rules the night, definitely rules the night. If you go outside, even to this day in time, if you see where it's pitch black dark outside, but you have a full moon, and you're not around any street lights, if the full moon is out in its prime, it's gonna be starting as soon as the sun sets. You'll be able to see the full moon all the way up to the twilight for dawn for morning. And so it's definitely ruling the night, and we understand that nighttime means dark time. And so that's the reason why I'm going by the full moon instead of the dark moon. And I call the dark moon, just to be clear that it's, I don't view that as the new moon. I view the full moon as the new moon. So I'm not going to call it that. And I know that it contradicts um, everything that NASA or um, anything that's in publication is talking about, but that's just the way that I learned it. I'm sorry um, about that. It just makes sense though, because the other thing is that stands out is in the book of John in the New Testament. It says, "Are there not 12 hours in a day?" And so there are 12 hours at nighttime, dark time, and that's after the sun has set. So, um, that's it. And so the other thing is different verses that is talking about um, the month of Ziv. I just wanted to highlight that. It's in First Kings chapter 6, verse 1. And it came to pass in the 480th year after the children of Israel had come out of the land of Egypt, in the fourth year of Solomon's reign over Israel, in the month of Ziv, which is the second month, that he began to build the house of the Eternal One, the Most High Power. I just wanted to show. Um, it was only two verses that had that month in there, and I thought that was like it took me years to focus on these names and separate things and be interested in what everything means in the Bible. And so I was like, okay, well, these months do have names, and I previously wasn't giving them names in my calendar, and I'm like, okay, it definitely is in there. So I know the month zoo, the way that I'm pronouncing it, it sounds like a location for a bunch of animals, but that is what I'm getting. So I'm sorry. Exodus chapter 12, verse 11. And thus shall you eat with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and you shall eat it in haste. It is Yah's Passover. Now I was thinking, that's what they did. And um, it was a conversation that I had with Zaire. It was about the Passover back when it first happened in the book of Exodus, and it was talking about the Passover happening at dark time, nighttime, and the children of Israel, they were being pushed out after Pharaoh was like that was the last straw with all of the sons, the firstborn rather, all of the firstborn dying. And he was like, okay, get out. And they got out in haste, and it was a hurry, rush type of thing. And so it was a few verses in the Bible that's talking about how quickly they left, and how dark it was, and how they needed like this flame of a pillar of fire so they can see, right? Because during the Passover, it seems like it was very dark. According to, just things kind of come out in conversation. And so while we were talking, it was like I was able to see the visual on the scene at hand. Like you thinking, oh, well, if it's a pillar, how many pillars of fire was leading the children of Israel during that time so they could see? If you have moonlight, and this pillar of fire, how many days was this, like, to keep them moving towards the Red Sea? This conversation was like intriguing. I was thinking, I can see. No, I guess so. Kind of makes sense, that um, Moses, they didn't have the full moon out during that time. It was maybe like the dark moon during that time. So thinking every single, just to represent the similitude of the dark moon, because they were out with a pillar of fire in the nighttime, and then during the day, they had the cloud to lead them. Now, yes, it was still kind of like it. Maybe it wasn't for moonlight purposes, like they couldn't see purposes, but maybe it was more for guidance on direction, so they wouldn't be just aimlessly wandering all about during that time. But you know, hey, maybe it was a dual purpose for the fire by night, but just just to suggest maybe that was an option during that time if you were to think, oh, maybe there's another reason why it was really the 15th, the 14th, 15th of the month, and the Most High um, kind of did stuff like that. If it was a time frame that was happening, then it would mark that day and time, and it would be perpetual, um, to kind of match the time frame. I'm gonna get ready to wrap this up, and in a few minutes, and just maybe like come back and talk about Passover some more, and unleavened bread. But just thinking I would talk about that just a little bit. For Exodus chapter 12, verse 21, and I have many, many slides on this. I'm not going to talk about all of these slides in this one video. That's the reason why I'm like, oh, I think I'll just come back and talk about the rest of this a little bit more on another video. And Exodus chapter 12, verse 21 says, Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said unto them, Draw out and take you a lamb according to your families and kill the Passover. So, the origins and significance, I'm going to talk about the a little bit more, because that's when it started. It started in Exodus, and the commandment in Exodus 34 is telling us to make this perpetual thing. And they were in bondage, um, and it was for many years. They cried out. And for me, it's like Passover to me is like, protect us, please, Father. Protect us from uh, those that have us in cruel bondage, even to this day. Even to this day, I'm just asking that you protect us from the hands of the wicked, the conspiracies, and of the mindsets of these wicked people that continue to believe that it's okay to uh, emotionally whip and lash out to your chosen people, your chosen ones. And I'm just asking that you continue to give us spiritual protection and liberation, physical protection and liberation, emotional protection and liberation, in every sense, in every capacity, Father. I'm just asking that you give us all that we need. And I just pray that your ears will hear us crying out to you for your aid, and that we constantly are able to come boldly before the throne to obtain help. We need you. We need you, Father. And even when it gets to the point to where it's like, um, if it wasn't for the very elect, no flesh would be spared. I'm still asking that you give the elect ones courage, hope, and discipline, because I believe that it's the elect that's going to help a lot of people to continue to do work even in these dark times. Father, even in gross darkness, Father, I'm asking that you allow your chosen ones to know fully how to shine their light to the world, throughout the world, both now and as long as the elect ones live. And I praise you and I thank you, Father. Hallelujah.